I am bitterly disappointed. I went through a great trauma. I hope you're all mishtatif of my great tsar that I went through recently. First of all, I want to thank Torah Anytime. I want to thank Kol HaLoshen, and I want to thank Kavash Kocha Pratis. And I want to thank the Rabbeinu Shalom for everything and anything. And I want to tell the Olam that unfortunately, you don't always get what you want in this world. Unfortunately, Nebuch, I have been hurt recently. I'd like to share my pain with the public. I was asked to speak last night for the shidduch. They're into shidduchim over. They asked me to speak, and they put my name all over Lakewood the tzaddik. And they left out a gun. They left out Butzina Kadisha. They left out. They could have. I would have given them ideas. The Rashka. They didn't like nothing. It's tzaddik. That's not big by me. I want to have some more at this point. And a man in my age, a chashuv person, I'm very hurt, Rabbi say. It's terrible. Sorry, sorry everything. I'm the guy. Kitzur Rabbi say, you have to accept things in life. Not everything goes the way you'd like. Sometimes, you have to swallow and make believe nothing happened. But deep, you're hurting and you're in pain. You could be sure. I went home. My wife was looking at me. Oh, you don't look good. I can't say what happened. It's too private. I couldn't even express my pain. It was too much. Rabbi say, sometimes I say these type of things and they believe me. They believe me. I once said, why don't you call it the next time? Butzina Kaddish. Oh, I didn't mean it, you guys. I'm kidding. And no. Deep. Every joke has a truth. You ever hear these guys? Every joke has a truth. I want to tell you something. I'm trying desperately to make a chayzik out of COVID, which that's what they did in Novhardok. They made jokes out of this stuff, which is a very powerful form of mussar. And I do this from time to time. I feel I should do it more and more. You don't chop what every ounce of mussar does to you. You don't realize something's happening. Come on, I still like, listen, between you and me, Rabbi say, I might be making fun of this, but you think I don't like COVID? Of course I do. Think it's going to change me making this joke? Yes! It changes you, lo netzach. You open a mussar sefer for 1 second. I know I never spoke to somebody. Hashem should help him. I got a phone call from overseas of a Nebuch Abacha, who is a Bacha who's going through. Unfortunately, he fell into, and he sits and learns. That's funny. I don't know. He fits how things work in his life. And he he fell into a certain addiction, whatever he fell in. And the parents called me up, and I spoke to the Bacha, and the Bacha told me something that I've heard before. It's so impossible. I tried so many times. It's not. It's a wall. I'm addicted. Go handle. Rabbi Isai, I want to tell you something. I didn't finish that boy. I think they're on my case again, but if I speak to him or not, I don't know. But one thing I do want to tell you. You learn Musa and don't care if it's working or not. Get out of that business. You keep that up. The Chayvus Avava says every little inch that you could get out of the Yetzar, every mashu. And I was told in a Novhardok Rabbi Schwartz, just open that Musa safe and you're bringing Siyata Shmaya. I didn't even read it. I didn't find the page. It's not, of course you have to try. Rabbi say you don't chop. Every gesture, every mashu, every slight attempt that you make to beat the Yetzirah is a gold mine. Don't listen, Yetzirah, but I gave up. That's me. There's no hope. After so many years, none of that business. First of all, it says Moshe Rabbeinu was niftav. Almost Moshe Eved Hashem. Doesn't say finished. Doesn't say this. Eved Hashem. That's it. Same thing at Yeshua. Eved Hashem. I'm working. You don't know the power of every mashu. And you wait. The Shal Salanta says the person who learns Musa should not get discouraged when he sees nothing's happening, because he just keeps going, and through the years, don't chapes spilas. It's working, it's not working, it's working. I get nothing, I don't get. You move. Don't listen. Every inch is a victory. Every millimeter is a gold mine. Reb Chatzkel, who was not known to be that positive, although I insist he dafka was. Yeah, I heard things when he said, Reb Chatzkel didn't stop with this nakuda more than anything. Every slight movement, every mashahu, every gold, it's gold ad ein shir. You might even get more schar for that than all your victories. Yeah, he says this. He says, even if you're never going to do it, you think a little different, it's fine. Just keep moving at it. Imagine how much nachas HaKadosh Baruch Hu has. He put us Americans in a cesspool among Goyim that have no Hashem Yerachem, what they're all about. What their families look like. 2 cats, 1 dog, a canary. A human is a chiddush. Oh, you actually have a normal baby. That's nice. Yeah, my wife was once in one of these maternity in the hospital, and the lady there, she already had 1 child, 5 cats, 3 dogs, one of those families, a family, You have to have variety in your family. A goldfish, few of them. Those are very good dogs. Yes. They'll be your best friend. Oh, yes. Those dogs, they're kind of with the long nose. Get it. Oh, it's time for a poodle. Get a poodle and go with the poodle schmoodle and take a walk in the street. A respectable person goes with a poodle. A nice fancy lady goes with a fancy poodle, and the poodle wags his tail like a gans Pnei Ador ke Pnei Akelev. It's Kaim Zain Chazal. You walk around with your poodle, and the poodle goes around, cutie pie. This poodle goes to a special manicure place. This poodle gets special treatment. When you go there, they do a job on him or she on him or it. I don't know what it is. This poodle, and they do a job, and the lady watches the poodle, and she takes out all the money. My poodle. And when the poodle, I was once standing in a department store. The lady in front of me was crying like a baby. And she didn't know what she was doing. She gave a 1 instead of a 20. She was all mixed up. And the cashier says, lady, you're off the rock. You're not helping cop. You're not with. So she starts crying. Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't even think straight. Well, what happened? She lost her huntel. She lost her huntala. And the cashier says, oh, I understand. Yes, I understand. Yes, that's terrible. She lost her huntala. I'm telling you, there's a dog cemetery half hour from Lakewood. Anybody, Arab Purim, go there. I'm telling you, if you have trouble laughing, you want to cheer up, go. First time I saw it, I said, what's going on? The warmth on those gravestones. The humans should get such love. We all love you and miss you. You are unforgettable, Spotty or Blackie. Who could forget your beautiful face with your fangs and your canine teeth? Such a good-natured dog I had. My dog had Mitos. I once saw right here in front of my house. I'm getting carried away, everybody. I didn't come here to make fun of him. But maybe I did. But it's time out to talk about the Huntalach. Gil's man. Talk Penei Ador, Penei Gilo. So I saw a lady, an older lady, not a kid, and she had a huntle. I think the huntle was covered with it was in the winter time. She bought the huntle a special coat. Especially, nowadays they probably have you go to the clothing store for animals too, you have to take care of them. Whatever it is, so I saw her potching the hunt. She was angry, the hunt didn't listen to her. I heard you can go for therapy to work out relationships with dogs, to find out, to make sure that, learn how to get along when the poodle doesn't want to listen. The whole godless of a poodle, or whatever they're called, the whole godless is he can't talk back. Or else what's wrong with kids? Because kids can talk, you'll have to deal with kids in time of COVID. If you have a human, you're running away from reality. You want to sit with that huntle. A huntle. I knew Yid. He's all Yenevelt. He wasn't from, but he was a sweetie. And he told me how he cried when his huntle was gone. He told me, he says, you think it's funny, but you don't know what it's like when you use. And after all, it's just a huntle. You know a little Yiddish, this Yid, a Geschmack Yid. After all, but still, it's very painful. What do you say today? I have a neighbor. Don't ask. I have a neighbor. This guy looked terrible one day. I says, what happened? His favorite cat died. His favorite cat died. Oh, that's terrible. He once told me to daven for one of his dogs. It's a true story. He told me to daven for one of his dogs. And my dog's name is Wanit, something like that, Wanit. He says, oh, okay. And please, here's a picture of my dog. Please pray. My dog has Yena Machla, and he wants me to daven for his dog. So I says, can you give me the dog's mother's name? You got to get the mother's name. It's a true story, I promise you. It's a true story. I davened and didn't help. I wanted to make a Kiddush Hashem, If I'd saved the dog's life, they'll say, oh, the rabbi saved the dog. I would be in all the newspapers. I'll get some coming for saving the dog. But I found out later, I'm sorry, Rabbi, I had to put Wanit out. She had to kill him. Here, the wife, the husband, whatever. So it was freightlich. Anyway, this woman has 52 cats. I'm not joking. 52 cats. She got them all in one place. And when each one dies, she's ice bench. She has a heart monitor because of the aggravation. You think it's a joke? Aggravation. Yeah. So I was wondering, she's going to have 52 cat levias because dogs don't live. They're not around so long. So who's going to go first? Dogs are going first. How's she going to live there? Traumatic experience. 52 cats. I'm sorry. But the cats. Anyway, I had enough. Had enough of that stuff. Anyway, Rabbi say, we have to thank the Rabbeinu Shalom. We have to thank the Rabbeinu Shalom for our struggles. Our struggles are Kedesh Kadoshim. Our struggles, even though we fall, doesn't matter. We keep fighting. Milchama Hashem HaMalek. Main thing is go to war and keep fighting the steig in every way, mainly in Bטחון. You have to try to work on having more and more Bטחון. With shidduchim business, by accident, there's no accident in this world. They asked me to speak, but they have a whole shidduchim thing last night. So I spoke. The one that they wrote, Hatzadik, it was great. I said, after that, everyone was coming over to me. They called you a tzaddik. They said, oh, that's so nice. Do you know, I'm serious about it. When they write a tzaddik on me, I don't know what they're thinking of, but I take it personal. I consider it Shechina B'daber T'Grayna. I hold Davis is talking. I accept it, and I like it, and I believe it. I once walked in, just 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I walked into a Kiddush, a friend of mine. And as soon as I walked in, the guy started dancing. Oh, Mendel is here. So they start singing Yom Al Yemei Melech. They start singing. I told myself, so I dance along with them. Why not? And then I tell them, I don't know what you guys are thinking, but I take serious what you're doing. I feel very good. So I feel it's Shechina with the Rebbe Tegrena. I don't know what you feel. You're making fun of me. You mean it. You don't mean it. That's not negayah to me. If David HaMelech, when Shimon Gera cursed him, he said, Hashem amalei kalal. So I tell Hashem amalei barach. Hashem told you to say something nice to me. You mean it. You don't mean it. What's the difference? I take it personal. If everybody would go my derech, you have happy people, I want you to know, they say you can say 1,000 nice things to somebody. With one criticism, boom, the criticism sticks. Now I know the truth, what you really think of me. All that stuff is baloney. Now we know. That's the way people are. Isn't that crazy? Why don't you believe the compliments? People only believe criticism. You didn't. I told someone a vought the other day. I didn't mean him, but after I finished, I saw the guy got white. He got red because the vought was a Muslim vought. He means me. I didn't mean you, but it means me. Now I know what you really think of me. Anyway, Rabbi Sai, we try to make fun of COVID. It's very good for us. Make fun of COVID. I got a phone call. Motzei Shabbos. Yeah, what happened Motzei Shabbos? Anyway. Yeah, I had to speak over there. So I told him my stories. So I had Hashgacha Pratius, big time. I had nothing to say. Thursday, I figured, is this my line? Shidduchim? I'm a big Balmaifis, we know that. But is Punkt Shidduchim my line? What am I going to say? First of all, the first time I was told I might speak, I says, wait a minute, who says it's not my line? I hold, I'm great. Yes, that's one of my big things. I give a bracha and you get shidduchim. Whether I meant it or not, I don't know. But the next day, I get one long distance, one short distance. I got a call from Bnei Brak. A woman gets on the phone in Hebrew, Harav Mendel. She tells me, thanks to you, because whenever she heard me and I gave a bracha, I don't know what happened. Her 24-year-old daughter became a kala. There's one. As soon as you say, just a bris crucialos fasayim, and the same day, an hour later, I get another phone call. An almond with 10 kids, whose wife was nifta, he's gonna get getting engaged a few months after his wife is nifta. The same day, I have two. So, you have to talk positive. Never say, I'm not, I'm not. I am. And only good will come out of it. But now comes another mice. I have some more. They're all calling me punked when I need it. Someone calls me up. He gave me $500. He came here. This fellow lives in Yerushalayim. Do you hear what happens if you're one of the Bali B'tachon? You get special service. They are giving me money. Israelis are giving me money. Did you ever hear that? Mashiach is around the corner. They should give it. The guy left me $500, and I want my daughter to get engaged. Oh no! I told you what happened. Somebody once in 1 week. In 1 week, I had 10 mifsim. I had 10 requests, and every guy had a Yeshua, except for the guy that gave me $500. He did. I'm serious. It's a true story. So I felt, I'm getting distressed. It messes up everything. But after that, I davened a little about that. Why should the guy suffer? Because he gave me money. So I started davening, and Baruch Hashem. The next guy gave me $15,000, and he had a nest goli, Shemai. Did I have a nest? So, by the way, about 2 years ago, the guy calls me up. Here's $1,000. My mother needs her for an older woman. She needs her for Shalima. So please, here's $1,000. For tzedakah, my tzedakah, I took the 1,000. And a week later, I called him up. How's your mother? Well, since your bracha, she went downhill. Did you hear that? It's a true story. Since So I started that. Amish said, don't do this to me. You know, like an hour later, I call back. She's all better. Here it is. Now push it. Anyway, but so this guy left me $500, and he wants a shidduch, and he has called me about at least 2-3 times in the middle. Where's the shidduch? So I told him what to do. You want to get a shidduch? Do the following. First of all, I want your house to become a more positive. When people go around all day saying, I need this, I need that, you're in a mode of machsar, I need everything. So you're not happy camper. You don't attract, the Eibishter is attracted to happy people. He likes people. Don't be so frum and so this and so. Be so. By the way, I do hold from the frum types. Chas v'chalila, to say things like that. I'm just saying you gotta at least try to be more whatever. But if you happen to be the frum type, so you'll get a lamaba that way. Right? Well, no matter what you do, Hashem is with you. You made all the mistakes in the universe. Hashem will still help you. You don't really have b'tachon. Hashem will still help you. My Rebbe Rabbi Schwartz said, unser b'tachon is hinkedik. It's like somebody limping. We're still going to get service. He told us to me. Your b'tachon it'll still work. You know how good Hashem is? We deserve it, don't deserve it. I said a murder gavot from one of my rabbim. The real Baal B'tachon is the Russia. Don't look for trouble, chas v'sholom. Why? Because he's Saimach on the Eibishter. Everyone else is Saimach on my learning, my davening, my this, my that. He is B'zeh B'Hashem. The Russia. Is that something? Huh. So, but don't look for trouble. So you are Saimach a little bit and other things. So Nishkefel. Anyway. So I told the guy, you get together with your wife and you talk about that girl and say how wonderful she is and say what a wonderful girl she is for 5 minutes and then spend 5 minutes, open up a shar b'china and say, okay, now my normal nusach, I don't know if I told it to him, my normal nusach is part of the compliments about her have to be true, part have to be exaggerated, and part have to be white lies. Like Rabbi Miller said, better a positive lie than a negative truth. I dafka do that. It gives humor. Our daughter, the Rashka Bahag, look. Try to joke a little bit. Don't be so sugar. And every joke has a grain of truth, right? Watch it happen. Anyway, something, only good comes out of these things. So what happened to this? So he did that. He said 10 to 12 minutes. I asked him a very important question. Did you enjoy it? He says, yes, I did. Me and my wife got together. That I liked the best. You make a musa say that. Make it geschmack. I said like this. Zeh keli va'an vehu. I will make him beautiful. What's that all about? Where's the Torah sweet? It's your job to make the Torah geschmack. Make it geschmack. Make it. You have to do it. It's very important. Daven a lot for that. The daven for geschmack and learning. Geschmack, everything geschmack. Daven for geschmack. Much as you can. Anyway. And so what happened to this fellow? He enjoyed it. Then he did another one of my big eitzes. Shemin Esra, Bayir L'Ratzai. You thank Hashem for 10 minutes on the clock. He did it every mincha. Could be his wife too. And just thanking in English, I don't care what language, but no buts, but give me this. No. 10 minutes only thankfulness. I already asked the Paisik. You're allowed to do it. Even though it's not about kosher. It's by your L'Ratzah. You say whatever you want. Thank Hashem for 10 minutes. He did this. And she's a Kala. And you know what kind of Kala she is? The Chassan's a year and a half younger than her. And he took a trip from America to Israel for her. Special trip. Special to meet her. And they're in cloud 9. That's one of my latest moifsim. There's only one thing that I don't know if I had to do with this, but I haven't know. I like this. This Kala is the type that she paid her brothers money to learn Shar B'tachon a half hour every day for her. That's a smart girl. That's something beautiful story. So that's my latest moifus, Rabbi Say. Then I had another one. The same day I got a phone call. David said, no, I needed materials. So boom, here comes one. It's unbelievable. I live with the Abish. I ask him, I get it. Right now I need money. Anyway, but listen to this. What happened with the what happened to the other one? I get a phone call. I see this guy, his brother, a Gorish. This guy from Israel somewhere. He's a Gorish for 10 years, terribly depressed. He has been read Shidduchim, going nowhere. Right after my bracha, he became a chassan. And the guy tells me, I hold it was your bracha. He tells me, I says, I also hold it was my bracha. It was my bracha. Isn't that nice? So we got another shit. I said, I give brachas. I'm not in a spoil. Sooner, you just speak positive and watch what happens. Now I want to tell you another thing. Very, very, very important, Rabbi say. You have to hold from yourself. I'm always mixing in gaiva with bטחון. And the Alter von Novandig says, he says, you have to hold that you're roi. He says, you hold you're not roi to get what you want. Because of that, you're not getting it. When you're looking for shidduchim and your head's full of, maybe there's akpada. Maybe, I shouldn't have done that. Ein hara, that's why. No good relationship, that's enough to kill it. I know somebody had relationship problems with shidduchim aged kids, and they weren't going anywhere. One mekubal after another said, you're not going nowhere. He went to Rav Chaim Kanevsky, Chaim says, don't bother me. They'll be okay. After they get married, you'll make up. That's what he said. Anyway, I'm not getting involved in that. But the Novandig is held. Ein dover oimel lefnei bטחון. Bטחון is dynamite. You cause it to yourself by always telling yourself. That's why so many people, they could do more for others than themselves. They have this guilt trip, I did this wrong, that wrong, kills your whole bטחון. It doesn't matter what you did. bטחון gives you whatever you want. But anyway, listen to this one. This is very, very kedai. I got a phone call last week. A younger man calls me up, Mendel. He came to my house. Last week I came to your house, a year ago. But first I want to tell you, I just had a baby boy. 9 miscarriages, married 6 years. 9 miscarriages. I says, what did I do? He says his wife was there. And when you get 9 miscarriages, you get the feeling that you're really, something's wrong with you, or you're on the bad list. I don't know exactly what I said, but this is the Nakuda that they told me, that I made his Rebbitzin feel, I don't even remember anything. I don't remember the name, I remember nothing. I made him feel like Hashem likes him. I put him on Hashem's good list. As soon as that happened, she became pregnant. You hear that? You know what causes all the tzaras in the world? When you think Hashem doesn't like you. Don't do that. Or you think he likes everyone better than you. My father Zatzal used to say, he feels like a ben yachid to the Eibishter. That's the way everyone should feel. This vod, b'shem my father, I say it all over the place. It's a gold mine. You have to feel, I am the most special guy. They don't feel like that. All the bachim go around, I'm nebuch the alta bach in this world. No, I'm messed up. Or the other guy, I'm nebuch the quiet type. Or I'm nebuch the weird type. Last night I'm speaking, and a guy says, what if you're a Meshugana? Can you still get a shidduch? First of all, I told him, Pnei Adork and Pnei Akelev, of course. That you're meant to be a little wacky in this day and age. I had a Rebbe, Rav Chaim Halpern, told me once, Ich bin a bissel a Meshiga. So what's wrong with being a little nutty? Who isn't? I said, I once got together with one of the biggest Rabbanim in Lakewood, and we both came to the conclusion, anybody who thinks he's normal these days, he needs help. Chap. And by the way, if something's very good, what people say, the guy's not normal. He's great. When you want to say something's very good, you say, not normal, right? So that's like the shits of success, to be not normal. Oh, that's the way you express, So at first I tied that. So then I said, don't worry, there's plenty of crazy girls around. What do you have to worry about? Plenty of get together, it's not like you either. But the thing is this. Where am I holding? Anyways, I'll tell you this half of the Gavod. I had another such Maisa. A younger man comes over to me. This is 8 years ago, 10 years ago, I don't know how long ago it was. He had a pale look on his face, always. He looked a little bit. And we're hopping in Shmuz, a sweet, a younger man chick. He has 2 kids. He's barely 30. And he starts talking to me about a grave and, well, what do your kids do after you pass away? And if I says, what's going on here? So he said, well, you know what I have. What? He has Yana Machla. And he has a psak from his Rosh Yeshiva that he has to listen to the biggest doctor in the field who lives in New Haven. He has a chain. I don't want to say which. I don't want to give anybody away. I like to be very. And he said, the doctor said you need extensive therapy. 5 years of Gehenna, of extensive radiation, chemo, with get the Sachen. And he didn't really stand much of a chance. And a psak from his Rosh Yeshiva, you have to do it. So this is the first time I was ever approached with a Yana Machla case. To me, it was, what am I getting involved into over here? I'm not, it's scary, Yana Machla. But I figured it didn't pass for me to say nothing. The big Bטחון. So I screamed at him, it's nothing, there's nothing wrong with you, Drenish Kagop. He looks at me, what? We were standing in front of Kol Shimshon at nighttime. He's such a sweet fellow. And I kept yelling at him. And I remember telling him that he's worth a lot. The world needs you. You're a great person. I rubbed that in a lot. You are needed here in this world. Big Nakuda. I met him 1 week later. We made up. He's going to learn Musa. We met 1 week later, less than a week. It was Sunday. And I met him on Shabbos in Rabbi Pashkiz's basement, Shir in Lakewood. And it was at Kiddush. I couldn't recognize him. He looked, he had color in his cheeks. He was drinking l'chaim with everybody. I went over to him and says, what happened? He says, right after I told him this, he started feeling good about himself. He made a phone call to the local yokel. The local doctor wasn't so, as smart as the other guy. The less, brave chachma, brave etzev. Better not to be so smart, as you'll soon see. And this local guy decided, maybe it's not so bad, whatever. He got on a phone. He called up the other doctor. It's a mitzvah, they should do that. The biggest in the country of this zach. And he spent a half hour telling him he feels he has to go much lighter treatment. It's not that bad. He started playing down the whole thing. And the big guy was infuriated. How dare you, the guy, I'm the biggest in the state, in the country, and you're telling me what to do. But he reluctantly went along with him. And this guy's getting more and more feeling like, I'm not that bad. That all in 1 week. He called Reb Chaim Kanevsky, and he got a psak. No treatment. 2 months later, he was cured. This is my mythos. One of the most striking ones, because in a week I had a new person. I brainwashed him good. I was screaming at him. I scream a lot. I say, I am the Baal Mythos Hador. I know what I'm talking about. They all believe me usually. So anyway, the Yesod, this mice and the lady, and the mice with the lady, Tzada Shava, they felt they're worth something. So important. When I tell singles, hold from yourself. I know, but my friends are married. So what? Here goes. I found this by accident. There's no accidents. There's a sefer called Habayteach. It's not a Musa sefer. It's lumdus. It's delicious. I recommend it. But for Musa, But Musa, you take different stuff. You take Shemurmunim is more Musadik. Betochen. So, but I happened to be here, and I figured, let me take it. The Eibishter put it there. I opened it up. Boom, the Shidduch section. And there they had one story there. It was one Chazal, the Medrash Rabbim Bereshis, that it said, Esav Arasha got married at 40, and Yaakov got married at 83. Because Rishayim, goes fast by them. Tzaddikim gotta wait till they get the Yeshuas. Medrash says this. Now I have a prescription for all Alter Rebachim. I want you to go around. I'm the Yaakov around here. Nebuch, these Asavs, they're all over the place. All these married guys, Nebuch, these ladies, the baby, they right away they got engaged. A lucky girl. She's not lucky. She's more the Asav type. I'm the one that's still at 25, unmarried, or 28, or 32. I'm Yaakov. I'm the other type. And she has to go around looking down at all those Nebuch cases that the Eibishter has to get them married off so fast because they're Nebuch. It's a Chazal. And now I'll tell you the Chovos HaLevavos says, Bacha. By the way, you have to apply this to everything in your life. Chovos HaLevavos says that a Bacher has to feel lucky that he's not married. Baruch Hashem, I don't have kids dancing on my head. I don't have parnasa issues. I don't have this crazy, I'm sorry. I don't have a woman to deal with. I don't want to chas v'shalom. And the lady has to say, Baruch Hashem, I don't have to deal with those men, right? Whatever it is. You're alone, do what you want, you go wherever you want, you're not tied down, sit and learn, have fun. You don't have, it's a great life to be unmarried. I once got a phone call, a divorced guy, he has a whole club of divorced guys together. I says, you guys aren't top of the world. These divorced guys are the most lucky people in the world. I'm happily divorced. What's wrong? I know it's great. Being divorced is gewaldig. If you learn Musa, if you believe in the Holy Torah, not in what everyone's saying, you know what people believe in? Ma'yomer Abrius, that dominates you and kills you. Ma'yomer Abrius. That's all people care about, 24/7. What did he say? What did he say? What's it? What's that? What that? You know, I am happily divorced. Baruch Hashem, I got rid of her. So happy. And when the lady comes over to me, I say, and you say, lady, Baruch Hashem, I got rid of him. I'm the lucky guy around here. Whatever. Every person has to feel. It's like the Chovos HaLevavos. You got to feel like $1 million and look down. Chovos HaLevavos at all the married people. And all the married people have to look down at the Bachur and be happy that they're married because there's a lot of milas. And the rich guys have to be happy they're not poor. They can give tzedakah. And the poor guys got to be happy both I'm not rich. Chovos HaLevavos says this stuff. You got to apply it. This is the betochen. Sit down all day and write down all the milas of your matzah. Don't listen to what the world says. But you gotta make money. You gotta whatever it is. That's what you got. Don't give me this stuff. I'm happily divorced. Don't bother me. But it's terrible, but it's nothing. The Welt makes you nervous, makes you crazy. They're so involved in tragedies. Everybody's in horrific. You ever see it? A new term, horrific. It's a great. All the newspapers, it's good to use it. Make it lebedik. Horrific. Things are so horrific. It makes people enjoy, catastrophizing. People love to catastrophize. Do you know what I went through? I told you already what I went through last night. They only called me a tzaddik. It was terrible. I'm still traumatized. It'll take me about 2 weeks. I plan to see a therapist for at least 2 years. They left out Hagoyin. They announced me. How could they do that? Calling me Namoritz, Barabam. That's what you do. You'd be shocked. I hope the Elam is laughing. You'd be shocked how many people, when they hear things like this from me, they right away get all nervous. We have to be careful next time. They make me serious. It's funny. People don't chap. A lot of people are not in, you got to make sure. I've had a lot of that stuff. I make my jokes, and the guy looks at me. Oh, yes, we have to be more careful next time. People are very serious. They did it on a laugh. I go to the Judaica Plaza. What is it called? Judaica Plaza. I go in there. There's unashir pictures of Gedolim all over. There's a Kalina Chassid there. I like them. They're my type. I like to kid around. As soon as I walk in there, I say, in front of it is a big line waiting over there. It have to be boisterous. It doesn't possibly be a quiet guy. I have to show him a big shot. So I need cover. My age, boy, am I thirsty for more cover. I'm desperate. I open my big mouth in front of the whole store. It's a giant store. Super, almost it's one of the big ones. Yelling, hey, where's my picture? What's going on here? In front of the whole, and he's rolling. I've said every time I go in, it's an old joke. He rolls, oh, yours is backed up for weeks. They're ordering. Where's my picture? And I yell in front of the whole store. I'm hoping there's a big line of people, waiting by the cashier. A line, 25 people. And I keep repeating my joke, hoping that I'll get a little covered, laugh a little, I see everyone standing like this. Standing. That one person, and I repeated a few times. At least consider me a meshuggah now. But laugh. Everybody's standing there like a klutz. Standing like a klutz. Nobody likes me and that Stollinger guy. We understand each other, looking at each other, rolling our heads up, and the crowd is standing like, See, Rabbi say, it's Gedai to learn Musa, just to learn how to laugh a little bit. You gotta laugh, come on. Don't chap. I know, I had a friend of mine, I won't say who it went. He was a Veltzletz. He was super funny. A straight word never came out of his mouth. Now, that was his Matthias. He was a super funny guy. You should know, way back, they had these interesting, funny guys. I'm not one of them. I became like this. Novandig had to make a job on me. Bukhar wasn't. But, I had a sense of humor a little. I could laugh here and there, but that wasn't one of those official lets. There was a few of them they had. Now, this guy was very hilarious. And he got married. And we saw it. Like every time he opened his mouth, everyone was on the floor. He got married, and there was his wife. And he was making all the shtick, and she was like, she didn't chop anything. She reminded me of my mother, Allah Shalom. My father was a Galiciana who made jokes 24/7. He used to come home every time he had a new joke. My father was terrific. He used to laugh all day long. And my mother, I'm an Adriya. My mother never chopped one joke. Never. She was a yeki. The yekis. But she tried. She understood. At least she appreciated that. It's an Indian, but I don't chop. I don't chop that whole stuff. A joke, what's that all about? But she didn't. And I told this to my brother, remember Tati and Mommy? And Mommy never chopped anything? He said, it's not true. 3 o'clock in the morning, she suddenly jumped out of bed and started laughing. She finally got it. That's what my brother told me. Making fun of your mother? That's what you do, Lachamei Vesem? My whole Sivsoisav Dovis Bekeva, to make you happy, my mother's masking. I'm telling you she's masking. I use that to make you happy. It's okay. Anyway. So, Rabbi Shah, you got to be happy. And you got to hold from yourself. Hold your roi. Zoktalta von Navadik. The reason why the Meraglim didn't make it, because the Meraglim held they weren't roi. The Fruma Yetzirah took away the miraculous Olam Abba. If they wouldn't have been so frum, they'd still be around. The frum Sahara, they held that not right. The Alta says it, and the Chavetz Chaim says it. Chavetz Chaim says the same thing. They were nishtal and kivers that taiva. Chavetz Chaim says that in Nakuda. So when they come, they see the giants in Eretz Yisrael. They say, we can't deal with this. And when we left Mitzrayim, we were tzaddikim. Now, different madrega. So now Hashem is not going to save us from those giants in Eretz Yisrael. And they all knock themselves. The tzaddikim, that's what killed them. You'll be so from. You're learning too much Musa. It's with you. B'tachon has no shaykhs with your madrega, none of that stuff. Anybody can be by Teyach B'Hashem. Side the Alta and side Chavetz both say this. Zok the Alta from Novandik. This that you hold, you're not Roy. That exactly why you're not Roy. Because you paskin on yourself that you're not Roy. How do you like that one? You're against a basic. You decide you're not Roy. Yeah. Sure. We don't understand them in a million years. We don't chop them. But you don't hold from yourself. So I'm very into gayus. Yes, you're afraid. I can't do a shidduch because I once did something. Yes, and I said this and I did that. And the Vardig, they warned me about that stuff. B'tachon knocks down everything. No chachmas, b'tachon. I have a sefer called B'tach B'Hashem, I think it's called. It's a Mlikut. Everybody's in there. Loads on B'tachon. Chazals, Ramban, Chavis Ababas, Kadak Kemach, Rabbeinu Yena, Chavetz Chaim, Madrigas Adam, Shemer Amunim. There's Sefer Chachma, Musaf, some way out, all these Menorahs Amar, everybody's in there on B'tachon. And they're the Breslov, whatever you want, they're all in there. And they all are. There's every single command. They have short shtiklach, a lot of them. They just have 2 pages, and their whole big sefer, they have 2 pages of B'tachon, it's in there. The Magid's in there. Command, every one of them. They're writing, just 2 pages on, but come out every one of them. Afilu Rosha B'Tei B'Hashem. They all say that. Because that's number one. Your B'tachon's in the garbage. If you are going to knock yourself all day, I'm not Roy, say goodbye. Dr. Alta from Novandik, you got to be so careful with this. I heard from Rutnema. He said, listen, there's 2 things. Okay, you did something wrong. That's a different. But your B'tachon, you put on those blinders and nothing can stop that. You want something, you're getting it. And the schus of being about B'tachon will make you into a tzaddik also, Be'ezah Hashem. Rav David Blacha says, someone who's B'tei Hashem is Mekurav L'malchus. Did I tell you it over for this oilam? I once went to an Orthodox camp. I wanted to get a job over there. And there was a line with the gulas. Everybody wanted to get a job over there. And they said, no. Suddenly, a kid walks in. He didn't look anything better than anyone else. Oh, how's your father? Yes, you're in. They didn't look at the guy, but they knew each other. They were friendly. And another guy, you're one of us. You're family. You're like, we're related. You're friendly with us. You're in. Sight unseen. And I told myself, that's exactly what B'tachon. I don't care who you are, the worst bum in the universe. But you spend your time alone with the Rabbeinu Shalom, and you say, Eibishter, I want to have B'tachon in you. Watch what happens. Yeah, B'tachon B'Hashem, Chesed, you say, when you're Mekurav L'malchus, Zok Reb David Blacha. The king's, he needs friends. You're one of his friends, so you're not so from. I'm going to say something now. It's a chazal. Chaim Shmulevitz tells it over. It's a scary chazal. Got to watch out. But I think it's an Indian to say it over. Chaim tells it over. It's a hafladika. Before David HaMelech was nifta, he said, okay, kill him, and he's the good list. Who killed who? Yoav ben Tzruya is Ish Hadomim. He tricked people. Shalom Allah, last week before he was nifta, David HaMelech, the last thing he did in his life was tell Shlomo, trap Shimei ben Geret, make sure he don't die a normal death because of what he did to me. He cursed me barabim, and get Yeh ben Tzruya. And number 3, Barzilai Giladi, him you treat like a king. When I was in trouble, he was my friend. When I was running away and all my friends, they ran away from me, he was loyal. The Gemara in Shabbos says, now this is not such a simple chazal. Beware. But I'm saying it, Rav Chaim brings it down, it's a heilige chazal. They say he had a lot of tivus, whatever that means. I don't know what it means. But he wasn't Shemi ben Gera or Yeh ben Tzruya, who big B'nai Torah G'dolei Yisrael Mamish. He was, I don't know what he was, but there was a weakness in a very, very shameful area. Whatever that means. In tivus. And still, Barzilai Giladi, they're going to be eating at my table, him and his Einiklach. They're my friends. Listen to this. Listen to this. Why? We're connected. He likes me. When I'm in trouble, he's still with me. If somebody holds out his Baiteach B'Hashem in difficult times, Habib Baiteach B'Hashem, you know what that's going to do for you? It's going to wipe out. The Ramchal says it's going to pull you out of Gehenna. The bטחון that you had when you were still alive will pull you out of Gehenna. The Chavis Avava said you're going to get schar for having bטחון b'olam hazeh and olam haba. We once had a whole issue with Mamonis and Lakewood, the whole tumult, the Malamdim were going crazy a little. I called Rav Weinkrantz. Rav Weinkrantz says, bטחון, not because you want to calm down. This is a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah. You're mechuyev to do it. You know what they did in the Novandik? They used to chep you about not having to do it. They said, how can you not believe me? You know how many nisim happened to you already? No. And you're still worried. No good. Anyway, I talked enough. Where am I holding? Look, I'll keep going. Another 5 minutes. Want to hear some good stories, some juicy stories? I want you to know Hashgacha Pratis, how a person has to live in that sugya. There's so much nisim going on. I had a maisa. I'm just these stories. It's nice. I decided I want to change my diet. So I would like to eat. I came into something happened this last week. A parent sends me a sandwich. What's that? All the secretaries, Rabbeim, what's going on here? I know what's going on. That morning, I didn't have a chance to eat breakfast. I said, Rabbeinu Shalom, I would like to have lettuce, tomatoes, and tuna. For whatever reason, I held that's for me. And I don't have it. I come to school, and there a parent brought me a whole thing from one of these places, and with some Danish is a place for us, punk that. Here what's going. I still don't chop. Punk. I met the parent today. What's that all about? You know, punk. Today, the day that I asked for it. You believe there's an Abish in the world? This is simple stuff. You want to hear mifas? This is a mifas. It's plenty good for me. You have to write these down and ligon them. This gives you bטחון. You feel the Abish is watching you. How everything is so well timed. You don't even notice. And there's so much good stuff going on. You walk in the day. When they told me about Corona, I says, what do you think of Corona? My brain has no makom for Corona. My brain is loaded with thank you for this finger and that finger. This is moving, Baruch Hashem. The nails are okay. Thank you for this. I have a nice pen. The nose is okay. Thank you for the ears, for the eyes. That's spittle Torah. You got to be nuts not to get involved in that. It's alibes. I'll tell you what I have. Karbanis is lashon kurva. Kurva lashem. A carbon brings you. Why? What's there with a kayan? Carbon. I want to tell you something, little fella. For some reason, And I think I understand it. Chovos HaLevavos talks primarily. The thankfulness in Sha'ar Bechina is your body, your being alive, remembering or forgetting is also a Maila. The eyes, the ears, the stomach, that's all he's talking about. That's the Chovos HaLevavos in Sha'ar Bechina. And why? Why that? Why are you talking about you finished shots, or you did a big mitzvah? You're breathing, you're hearing, you're seeing. You want to be close to the Eibishter? Get into that sugya. Rabbi Miller is famous for it. That's the number one sugya. You get out of bed in the morning, it's a school and not to get sick. You want not to get sick? Thank for your body day and night. You know, people never have to daven for now. This guy never has trouble with his kidneys, this has trouble with this part, that part. Thank Hashem for everything you got. Now, I want to tell you why a carbon. I'll tell you what a Lashon carbon is, Korban Hashem. You know why a carbon makes you close to the Eibishter? We're all walking around in a dark world. Olam Haza is Daima L'Laila. It's Choshech. You don't see. You know what you don't see? You don't see your large intestine, small intestine, stomach, spleen, pancreas. You don't see your liver. You don't see your lungs. You don't see the rib cage. You don't see your diaphragm. That's what you don't see. You can't live it out. All that's working like a fiddle. And you eat and boom, it's beautiful. You eat and you enjoy and it's good stuff and variety and you fresh your head off. And I had some schmaltzering this Shabbos. It was great. I went to a kiddush, schmaltzering. I had some vodka. Get yourself food. There's been bitter complaints about everyone's talking about Jack. There's a big campaign. They want Mandel to get paid by the Jack Daniels company because I have done more for Jack than anybody. I'm joking. Anyway, but a person, when you go to when you go and you see the body of the animal, which is just like yours, opened up, and you see, look at that, the kloyos, the emurim that they put on the mizbeach. Take a look. That's what you live with this every day. Why aren't you dancing with simcha? Look what that's why pshat. And why a carbon makes you karev to the Eibishter. Because it's getting into the basic, your whole digestive system, everything is sitting in the carbon, in the kishket over there in the animal. That's what I taina. You want to get, well, we're looking for Yerushalayim to come back someday. We'll have carbonas. We'll see that the way that makes you close to the Eibishter. You want to get close? Get up in the morning and say thanks. This eyes, say your Shabbat says, before you say Pekech Ivrim, you close your eyes. And look what it feels like when you can't see. And now say Pekech Ivrim. Wow, delicious. It's so delicious to be alive. I just spoke to somebody. He calls me up. He has a son. You should know these things. His son doesn't want to talk to him. His son got married to a funny shidduch. The guy has 15 kids. And everyone's happily married. Most of them are doing great. And everyone's nachas all down. And one kid is not doing well with the parents. And he doesn't want to talk to us. He doesn't want to this. He doesn't want to that. And for a year, he hasn't talked to us. First of all, I want to tell you something. I'm having Saturday Shmai with those cases. I had 3 of them in the last 3 weeks. I had 3, a boy that didn't speak to his mother for a year and a half. I gave one bracha. 24 hours later, he was on the phone with her for an hour and a half. That was one mifus. I had 2 more, just like that. I'm having a lot with that stuff. I don't know why. A kid was rebelling against his father, and together with the whole family, to throw the father. Don't ask what went on there. I gave a bracha. This guy came to my house. I didn't know what he wanted. He had such an issue, I couldn't deal with it. I says, what do you want from me? You want me to turn around the whole? So he says, I came special, Mendel. I want a Yeshua. I figured out if I do it, I started screaming, all right. And eitzes, forget about it. It was so complicated. You need 10 psychologists to know how to get this guy to talk to him. And the father was going out of his mind. I says, you haven't gone to your complete turnaround. this Misa, the father said something. The next day, by mistake, he had the whole family ganging up against him. And his wife, don't ask. And he said by mistake, he said something that one of his daughters liked. And she passed it on to the brother and the other and made a turnaround. That was my bracha, everybody said, just in case you want to know who I am. Did you hear that? That was number one. That was day one. Day two, a key player in the whole Misa made a total turnaround and it became his best friend. I had two. That's my second. I had a third one. I forgot the third one. I'm having a lot of siyata d'shmaya. What? Have to write, I know. What's on the tongue? I have so much moifsim. I'm drowning in my moifsim. There's so much. I think the best thing is Hashach Hashem. I think it's actually his. Anyway, what I want to say about, what was I talking about? Who? I moifsim. Anyway, what's the third one? You want to hear the third one? The third one, forgot. Also, weird, suddenly best friends, didn't see you for years. Oh, yes. And suddenly, we're friends, we're talking. And it's, they wish to help me. Look, I make believe I'm a Baal Meifus, and it works. I make believe. I'm saying this, Barabim. It's official. I don't have Ruach HaKodesh. But I speak positive. And it works. I was once walking in the street with Rabbi Miller. And he was telling me about someone we both knew. Wonderful person! We'll make a wonderful this and wonderful that. It all came true. Speak positive. It wasn't true, but Shazi said it. Shazi said it. I looked at him like, well, come on. You speak positive. שבתוכם, that I speak enough, Rabbi says. It's enough? You want me to keep on going for 2 hours? Sure. 2 hours you want me to go? I'll tell you a story. Oof. You want some Gehenna stories? I once got a phone call from a mother. The reason why there's so much depression is because Gehenna is a mess mitzvah. Gehenna is a mess mitzvah. No one talks about Gehenna. My shvigal, she wasn't that from type. It's back in Hungary, back in Europe, they talked there. Of course they talked about Gehenna today. Now today, you want to be a good Rebbe. I got a phone call from a mother when I was in camp a couple of years ago. Rabbi Mendel, my son loves you. Those Gehenna stories were great. It's a joke. If people would really believe in Gehenna, I told this young man who's Nebuch, his kids are going, his son married, whatever, now they hate his father and the father can't handle it. He's got a beautiful family. He says, you guys aren't happy that you're alive. That's nothing. You're going to sit on the kid who doesn't like you and that's your whole life. You don't think for a second that you're able to breathe. It's not important. They asked me about Corona. You're going to get involved in what's going wrong? You know, seeing things are going right? Did you spend enough time talking about this finger and that finger and having Jack next to you and having this and having a telephone? You have, I can babble my head off all day like a yenta. I can learn a little too. Doesn't hurt. I'm learning now 4 Masechtas. I'm going to teach you Mishnah. It's delicious. It's mamish gevaldi. Having sweet kids to deal with is not enough fun. I told the guy, you got Einiklach. Go eat up those Einiklach. You're busy with the kid with one son who's nasty to you. This guy got 15 kids. Now, you can't judge a person like this. They don't do that. But I want to help him. And the Seichel, Rabbi Miller, if he ever had an assign, he was so trained to see good all the time. He wouldn't have trouble with getting used to things. He was all day and all night. That's all he talked about. They found him at a chasana talking to himself. He doesn't socialize. You don't socialize. What are you going to get from people if you socialize with them? What are they going to do for you? Socializing. I'd rather socialize plenty. But what are you going to get out of the socializing? You go to Shadish from all that slachas and go to the Rebbeinu Shalom. chapash shmugs with him, tell him your problems, talk yourself out, and he'll give you anything you want. And Abe soll helfen, soll sicher sein to the Gula Shlema Bekorev Mamish.